Hi, my name is Lance El Pancho and we will be presenting our project in Cseg. But first, let me introduce to you my group mates.
Hi, I'm Jefferson Sibuan.
Hi, my name is John Daniel Del Monte.
Hi, my name is Joanna May Escopete.
Hi, my name is Dave Isguera.
Hi, I am Precious Angel D. Manlangit.
Hello, I'm Arnel Natividad.
Hi, my name is Heidi Lorraine Iko.
Without further ado, let's get started.
Hi, I'm Jefferson, and I'm going to discuss our summary of our game concept. Welcome to Way Home. And this main concept of this game is the dog, where the settings are the forest and the city, which has a character's name Brownie, which is our main character, Gray, the supporting character, the stray and dogs and cats, and also the dog catcher are the enemies of this game. The story of the game entitled Way Home is about Brownie being lost in the forest. In response to his situation, he traveled around and began to look forward things that could help him find his way home. On his journey, he needs to collect or find treasure chests that can supply him with the various items. When he arrives at the bridge separating the forest and the city, he meets Gray who helped him on his journey. The player controls Brownie and Gray, and especially when he and Gray gather treasure chests from highly structured buildings. Here are the objectives of the game. The first one is Brownie should get home to his house. Second one is Brownie needs to find a treasure chest to buy his necessities. The third one is the Brownie needs to avoid or fight stray dogs and cats as well as dog catchers. And lastly, pick up the sticks found on the road. He can use it as a defense against enemies such as stray dogs and cats. As I mentioned earlier, there are enemies or conflict that player will face. First is the stray dogs and cats, second is the dog catcher, and lastly the high structured buildings. Before the players start to overcome the conflicts, here the key feature of this game that can help to a player. And to control the Brownie's movement, just use this joystick at the bottom left side. Then the up arrow is used to jump. The right arrow is if the player wants to run. The double right arrow is used when a Brownie has a stack of the speed. The cut icon to switch the controllable character, and the other button where it is available only if Brownie has a stack of stick and sharp things. And now, let's move on to the gaming motivation, where the story motivation will immerse the players to be a part of the game world, especially players with a high interest in role-playing and strong appeal in a game with storylines. In role-playing games, the player progresses as the story continues. Player plays a part of the story and lives the whole experience as a dog. The storytelling in this game will be done through the dialogue and the linear directory of the story. And when it comes to the experience goals of the player, this game focuses on making the player experience and sympathize with the main character of the game world, and there are certain actions the player can use in the game and they can be activated using the controls. And once again, this is the summary of our game concept.
Hi, I'm here to explain the player and the objective of the game. The game we've made can only be played by one person at a time. Brownie, the main character in the game, is a dog. The player faces enemies such as stray dogs and cats, as well as the dog catchers. These are the patterns of player interaction in the game that demonstrate that it is a player versus game. There is also a cat named Gray, who is the main character's ally. Gray can also be controlled by the player. Brownie will receive assistance from Gray with different obstacles that they may face. The primary goal of this game is to return home. However, there are certain sub-goals in addition to the main goal. Find the treasure chest and gather up sticks located on the road are two of the mini objectives. These micro objectives will aid the player in his way to accomplish the game's main goal. That's all, thank you.
Good day, Sir Janus. I am Precious Manlangit and I will be presenting the procedures and rules of the game. So, for the procedures, the actions that the player can perform for the main character Brownie includes jumping by pressing the jump button, walking with the use of the analog stick, running by pressing the button for running, and pushing objects with also the use of analog stick. The game's special actions that can only be performed under certain conditions include run speed up, wherein the player's running speed will get doubled. This action is only available if the player has a stack of speed up potion that is obtained from treasure chests or purchased from a store. The player can also throw sticks, which is only possible when they have a stack of sticks, which they can get it on the streets or they can also purchase it. The player can also use sharp objects to cut things like the net, which is a skill that is only available if they purchase it from the store and obtain it from treasure chests. Lastly, the player can gain control for another character, which is the cat named Gray, whenever they have reached a certain point during the gameplay. Now for the rules. Firstly, its key concept. The game starts with a combination of narrative and core aesthetics because it tells a story of a dog that thinks he is unintentionally abandoned, but in the end, he found that his owner just adopted a new puppy, which in turn can engage the players emotionally, for which is the experience of the game's core aesthetics. Additionally, it also includes rules or systems observed in everyday life, since in the actual world, we frequently see dogs wandering along the streets, which is similar to the game's concept. Second, for its limitations, the story will have a linear plot from start to finish, which also means that the storyline and character relationship existing in the game are static. In order for the player to survive, they must use the game resources to deal or avoid enemies, and if they died, they would spawn to the recently reached checkpoint. Then for the results, since it is a story-driven game, the main reward for the player when they have completed the game is its ending, as they will be having a cutscene portraying about the truth of Brownie's abandonment, which also relates to the emotional reward of the game, wherein the player will feel different kinds of emotions as they progress the story.
Hi, I am Joanna May Escopete and I am here to discuss the resources and conflicts in our created game. So let's proceed to the resources. What resources are available to the player, such as units, lives, time, inventory, items, power-ups, etc. And how does the player obtain, use, or manage each resources? The available player resources are lives. Brownie has 6 lives, which can be reduced when fighting with the opponents. It can be increased with a health potion. Next is inventory. You can see here the total numbers of items that Brownie has, such as potions, sticks, and net destroyers. Next is the store. Player can purchase items in the store, such as potion and sharp things or sharp objects. There are 3 potions available in the store. Perfume potion. When the opponent smells the perfume potion, they can fall asleep, so the player has a chance to run away. Next is the health potion. It helps to increase the life of the player. Last is the speed up potion. Speed up potion will help to double the player's running speed. And the other things that can be bought in the store are sticks. There are sticks are used to defend against the stray dogs and stray cats that he will encounters along the way. The player must throw the sticks at the opponent so that the opponents leave. Next are the scissor, mini knife, and broken bottle. This can be used to destroy the dog catcher's net. And last in the resources are the treasure chests. This treasure chest is a big help to the player because it contains items that he can only get for free. He can get coins here, also food, and many more. The treasure chest is maybe hidden under the tree, under the bench, even in the roof, or on the sides of the road. And that's all the resources of the player. Let's move to the conflict. What are the obstacles, opponents, and dilemmas that the player will face in the game? How the player avoid, defeat, or solves each source of conflict. The obstacles, opponents that player will face are dog catchers. The player's main goal is to get home on the journey. He will encounter many challenges. The dog catchers are one of them. When he is cuffed by them, there is a possibility that he will not be able to meet the main goal. But to overcome this obstacle, he needs to find a treasure chest to get money to buy various things, various items that can be used to escape, such as potions and sharp things, stray dogs and stray cats. Also, one of the obstacles that player will encounter are his opponent's stray dogs and stray cats. They are one of the ones that can take his life, and they can also take his foods, so player needs to escape from them. In order for the player to escape from them, player need to hit them with sticks that he can get on the road. There are other possible ways to escape from them, such as treasure chest, where he can get money, or other things that he can use. The last one is the high structured buildings. One of the objectives of the game is to find a treasure chest. There are also hidden treasure chests in the high structured buildings. This is one of the player's problem because the main character in the game is a dog. It will be difficult to climb high structures, especially when he is in the city. But this will be overcome. When he meets his adventure partner Gray, it will be his ally in his journey. Gray can climb even in high places.
Hi, my name is Heidi Iko. Boundaries. The game has now multiple levels since it is a story-driven game about an abandoned dog. The game world is structured to be a top-down 2D game. By definition, a top-down 2D game offers an elevated viewpoint above the action and can be considered to have a top-down or overhead perspective. Top-down perspective, also sometimes referred to as bird's eye view, overhead view, or helicopter view. When used in video games, it refers to a camera angle that shows the player and the area around them from above. Now, Stardew Valley and Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are examples of top-down 2D RPG games. Outcome. The cause of the game to end is when the player finishes the story. There is no determinant if the player wins or loses, nor a measurement of performance from score time or achievements. Rather, the completion of the game is determined by completing the whole story.
Hello, I'm Arnel Tividad, and I will discuss some of the dramatic elements. First is challenge. What are the challenges in the gameplay? How will the game's challenge increase or change as the player's skill progresses? In order to promote flow, the challenge to be encountered in the game are the opponent. One of them is his fellow dogs, but these dogs are really homeless dogs scattered all over the street. This will be one of the challenges of the game because whenever Brownie gets food from the treasure chest, he will approach by a stray dog who will be his food competitor. By this challenge, the player is more eager to drive away the stray dogs so that he can survive. There is a big effect when a stray dog steals his food, and when that happens, he may be weak, a reason why he can't go home. and the other is dog catchers, which he must avoid while he is walking, because when he is caught by them, he will not be able to go home. Another thing that will change the game flow are the treasure chest that contains food or coins. Foods for him to survive on the journey, or coins that he can buy for his needs, such as sticks, etc. Those are challenges that can hinder the objectives of the game and can increase the player's skill progresses. Next is play. Play is the most fun of engaging about our gameplay. What choices or freedom do players have in terms of how they play the game? The most engaging part of the core gameplay is the unraveling story of a dog who's determined to return to his owner, as well as having its adventure buddy on his journey. Premises. What is the main concept driving the game's action? What is the game setting? The main concept driving the game's action is the dog's objective to return home, and the game setting is rather our forest and city. Characters. Who is the player's character? Who are the other main characters in the game, such as opponents, allies, etc.? What are the goals and motivations of these characters? The player's character is a dog named Brownie that woke up in an unfamiliar place where his owner left him. As a dog wanders on different places, he meets a cat named Gray, who will also be his adventure partner on the journey, and an ally that the player can control to access secluded and high structures that a dog cannot reach. Other than dog and the cat, there are opponents like a dog catcher patrolling that shoots with a net, street dogs that must be defeated or avoided.
Story. Brownie is an old dog who woke up in the far part of the forest, thinking that his owner had unintentionally abandoned him. Brownie began his journey to return home. His initial plan is to get out of the forest, but he doesn't know what first step he should take. Fortunately, he stumbled upon an item of his owner with the use of his unwavering sense of smell even in his old age. Brownie discovered his direction to be taken. But in a journey, there are obstacles across. Brownie found himself bumping into enemies, and some of them are the dog catchers that he needs to avoid. Although Brownie was able to evade the nets thrown by the dog catchers, he still got caught in a trap set by his opponents. Brownie lost his consciousness from exhaustion. When he woke up again, he discovered himself being caged and taken to a dog shelter in a city. Based on what he saw inside the dog shelter, Brownie has lost his determination to find his way home. It seems no longer possible until he meets a stray cat that visits the dog shelter without a problem named Cookie. When Brownie mentioned his situation, Gray offered her help but in one condition. Brownie has to find her owner too. They had an agreement with the help of the stealthy and sneaky cat. Brownie finally escaped the dog shelter, but in the middle of odds and ends in their journey, a pack of street dogs surrounded Gray. On the other hand, Brownie found this location close to his neighborhood. At the moment, he is given two choices: help his adventure partner or leave her. Ultimately, Brownie can't digest leaving his pal. From then, without hesitation, he chose to help his cat friend. Brownie lured the street dogs away from the spot where Gray was, and he successfully saved his friend. They moved forward. As Brownie walked through the familiar neighborhood, he couldn't help but be excited. On his short and adventurous journey, Brownie found a friend. If he hadn't met Gray, he wouldn't have been able to go home. But in contrast to the smile on his face and the assumption that his owner was worried about his disappearance, Brownie found out that he had been replaced by a younger and better dog. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lance Prael Pancho and I'll be talking about the artistic elements of our project. So I'll be discussing the visual aspects, the audio aspects, and also the kinesthetic aspects. So starting off with the visual aspects. The overall visual style of the game is just abstract. We're usually composed of geometric shape and it is just simple. It also shows a bright and shadowed colors for delivering unique and quite realistic atmosphere. As you can see on this image, so we have a different kinds of shapes like cylinder, circle, rectangle, and squares. Also combines with the different tones of colors like green. As you can see on this tree, we have the bright green to the darkest to obtain a realistic visual style of the colors and give different atmosphere to the players. So moving on the color scheme. So we are using a tetradic color scheme. The chosen colors adapt on how we look in the real world. So combining different aesthetics and sometimes rely on different tones to achieve a fresh and crunchy look. So as you can see on the first image, we are using two different colors, which is the green and the browns. So as you can see on the tree, we are using the brightest color, and then when we got to the bottom, we are using the darkest color. So next, on the right side, we have different kinds of colors and applying different tones to it. So by applying this on the game, it will give us a realistic game scene scenario. So moving on to the graphics and the animation. So our game only uses 2D graphics and also 2D animation. In 2D graphics, the point of view is just fixed and exposes a variety of objects, providing a very realistic atmosphere and yet with a flat screen movement. So as you can see here, so we're just showing the city at the fixed point of view. So the scene just only changes when we change our location. So next is the 2D animation. On the other side, where 2D animation occur, a vibrant and entertaining animation will gradually improve user experience and also make the game more alive. As you can see at the dog, so we are creating a different frames in order to make an animation. So moving on our idea to the game UIs. So the game UIs has the controls, live status, coins, inventory box, shop, and menu button. So starting off at the bottom, so at the bottom left, we have the joystick for player movements. On the right, so we have the different kinds of buttons like jump, sprint, double sprint when you use the potion, the throw, the cut, and also the change of player if you want the dog or to the cat. So next is the life status. It determines how many life points do you have to track if the player is close to mortality. Next is the coins. So the coins is for showing player money and also for buying the items to the shop. Next is the inventory box for showing us in-store multiple items. And next is the shop for accessing the store to be able to buy new items. Finally, the menu button for adjusting game settings, sound settings, and also the exit. Moving on to the audio aspects. So we have a different sound effect to the game. Some of them are from existing games as inspiration. So sound effects like punch, a swing, bark, meow will apply when the player counters an animal enemy. A running person sound effect for the animal catchers. It is the enemy also. So the whole game sound like this. when the player or the animal go to the store, this will sound occur. So moving on to the kinesthetic aspects. So it question on how visual effects, audio, and game physics affects to the game. So here's the answer. Visual effects, audio, and game physics will take the game to the next level, providing the best user experience, and make them feel that they are in the game, the way of setting the mood of the environment, giving clues to the surroundings, and providing great entertainment in the process. Finally, the concept sketches. I will be sharing to you the game world, game characters, and key game objects. So starting off to the game world, we have this the map concept, which is the left side. The green one is the forest. The middle, we have some bridge to connect them with, and the other side is the city. So here are the game world for the forest and also in the city. We have also different characters to the game. So the brownie and the gray, which is the protagonist, stray dog and cat, and also the dog catchers are the enemies. So lastly, the key game objects. So we have the scissors, broken bottle, bunch of sticks, mini knife, and different kinds of potion. That's all for the artistic elements. Thank you.